to Upper West region, where expectations were high in 2014 when the construction of an E-block, an educational facility, started at Dorimon in the Wild West district of the Upper West region. But 9 years into the construction, work on the project is yet to complete. So how are residents coping with the delay, and how has the delay impacted on education in the district? Let's find out from our regional correspondent, Swala Abdul-wahab. Hello, Swala.
Hello, Sarah.
Yes. So tell us the current state of the E-block that was started 9 years ago.
Yeah, thank you very much. Behind me is the E-block you are seeing, which construction started, we are told, in 2014. So from 2014 to date, it is almost 9 years. But this project was supposed to be completed in 2019. So that means its completion is behind time by almost 4 years. And people of the district, particularly parents, are not too happy with the delay in the completion of this project. Information gathered by the real time of GBC News indicate that the government a few years ago decided to construct about 8 of these type of facilities in the Upper West region. And the construction of these facilities were started after the processes went through. So out of the 6, we understand only 2 of the 8 have been completed. And the ones that are completed are that of Lambuse and Lowo. But the rest of the 6 are at various stages of completion. But this first particular one is one of the projects that many thought it would have been completed long time, looking at the deprived nature of the district. But here we are, the project is here to be completed. So we are at the project site here to speak to people who have expressed worry previously about the delay in completing this project. We would like to engage some of the community members, but first of all, we will speak with former assembly member for Dorimon. Please come. He is Honorable Olina Ababasa. It was during his tenure that the construction of this facility started. Honorable, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, my brother.
You are live on real time on GBC News.
Thank you very much.
Tell us your expectation when you heard of this facility being brought here.
Let me use the opportunity to say a very big thank you to your network and to the people of Ghana who are watching me. I want to express my sincere thanks to the leadership of the Dorimon community, the assembly member, the Doromona, and all sub-chiefs and elders of the community. I am representing them in this particular interview. First and foremost, if we talk about secondary education in the Wild West district, we only can talk about the existing senior high school before this one started. The only senior high school that was in the district is the Lasia Tolo Senior High School, known as St. Loyola. Now, you can see that aside the one municipality, population-wise, we are about 84 to 90,000 residents in the Wild West district. And this suggests that at least because of the way of population growth, we will have children of school-going age. And mostly, myself, I have to transverse from Dorimon to Wa to attend school there after my junior high school. So most students from this particular area, that's what happens to them. So what really happened is that when we heard about the news of the senior high school that was coming to this area, all of us were very excited and we welcomed the news. It really started at the latter part of 2014, and I took over from my predecessor in 2015, where work has really begun in earnest. And then what really happened is the work was progressing steadily because the contractor was always at site doing all that he could do to meet the project duration. But unfortunately, when there was a bit of, I don't know whether to call it transition or a bit of change of government, We didn't know that it will affect the construction of the school. But this has really affected it in one way or the other because contacting the contractor and hearing from his side why he has stopped work, he really bemoaned the issue of change of government being an issue and he needs to sort a lot of things out. We really don't have any political undertone about this. We don't do politics about some of these things because we are concerned about how the school would have given us the opportunity to also enjoy the free senior high school that is currently being implemented.
So, Honorable, tell me, this project, its completion is behind schedule by about 4 years. What have you done as a concerned citizen of Dorimon?
Okay, what we have done is, in the first place, when the project got stalled in 2018, we paid a visit to the presidency with the late Dorimon and his sub-chiefs. We went there with 4 main issues. Paramount among them was the issue of our road, the issue of we getting a district or a constituency, then the issue of extending water from the water expansion to other communities in the West district, and also to talk about the completion of this school that is just behind us. So the president at the time, that was in 20th April 2018, he told us that he will make sure that the next academic year that was starting in September, then we were going to have students starting their education in this school. That was the promise. And also the road was going to be under construction once again. But ever since we returned from the trip, we have not seen much done about it because work is still stalled and nothing, new has really come out of our visit. So we still hope that Mr. President and whoever is the major stakeholder in this will still come to our aid.
So how has the delay in completing this project impacted negatively on education, secondary education?
What really happened is, in the first place, when the construction was ongoing, we had people that were being employed by the contractor. So as the work has been stalled, it means that they have lost their job. That's number one. Number two, we have free senior high school that has been rolled out by this government. And if there's no access, then it will be difficult for people to really get themselves educated and get the benefit of that particular policy. So as it is now, we don't have students that are being able to occupy it here. And because of that, they have to go to other adjoining communities like Unodoli, Wa, maybe Lasie and the rest. For we parents and guardians, we think that instead of our children staying with us in Dorimon here and going to maybe have their education just at the local level, we have to pay things like lorry fare. We have to pay, other things that maybe we wouldn't have been paying for, because sometimes if your ward is giving a day status in the senior high school, you will have to go and rent rooms somewhere so that the person can go. But if this was also completed, we know that it was supposed to help our people get access to the secondary education just at our local level. So some of the costs and some of the stress and other things that we undergo, which are not very comfortable with us, we think that it would have been able to help us have our comfort home whilst our children also have their education without any stress. So if this school is completed, it will help us a lot. Now we know that people in Loko, people in Lambuse, they are enjoying these things, and they started the same time with this particular project. So we were thinking that by now we could also be hooked up onto same project, and then we also be enjoying it. So for secondary education here, it has really affected us because some people that may not afford some of these things, they will have to drop out of school because of certain issues.
What would you want to tell authorities regarding this particular facility?
Yes, I think consistently we've heard that this government have been able to complete some of the e-blocks in certain parts of this country. Unfortunately, in the Upper West region, including my district, they have not been able to complete any of them. So we are calling on the authorities to please come to our aid to help us also complete this. If it is completed, it will help our children that are also upcoming and young age of school going age to also have their secondary education at our local level, rather than having to travel to other parts of the country for secondary education.
Sarah, I will be talking to other members of the community, to find out how the delay in completing this project is affecting the education of their children. But I still want to engage the former assembly member. Uh, Not too long ago, there was an issue of some toilet facilities which are also taking too long to complete.
Yeah.
What is the current status of these facilities as we speak?
Okay, so as we speak, we know that toilet facilities are very important because of sanitation. But the SDG goals are clear on how sanitation really is an important issue in our life. So what really happened is that when the government took over power in 2017, at the time I was still the assembly member, the DC then came around to my community, Dorimon here, to meet with we the stakeholders, including the chief and other major stakeholders, then gave us the news of building toilets for us so that it can enhance our our sanitation needs. So what really happened is that it kick-started in that particular very year, and it was supposed to be completed within 6 months of duration. But as we speak now, when the project kick-started, it got to roofing level. They even plastered it up to a point and did some internal tiling and whatever. They even drilled a borehole there, which was also supposed to serve the community whilst we use it for the toilet facility as well. So all these things have been done, and we thought by now it have been completed. But as we speak currently, that particular project is still being stalled at the moment.
How many are the toilet facilities?
But there are 6 of them in the whole of this district. We have one in Dorimon, we have one in Siriri, we have one in Lasie, we have one in Wichao, there's one at Ga, and there's one at Naha. So these are the 6 that were started since 2017, and up till date, they've not been able to complete them yet. So we think that if the stakeholders, including our district assembly, if they could do something about it so that these facilities will become useful to the society or the communities, it will benefit us a lot.
Sarah, I have gone around the remote town, and I have noticed that there is only one public toilet in the community. And I understand it was constructed in the early 80s. So I ask myself, how do the people of the community attend to nature's call? But I want to pose that question to Honorable.
Okay.
How do your people and yourself attend to nature's call?
Yes, what happened is that I think we were very small when the toilet that was being built. Right now, that is what some people use. Others who are able to also do some private toilets are also using them. But largely, a lot of people in the community go into the nearby bushes to do what we call open dedication, which really is not the best. So as at now, though that is not the best, that is what we practice here in this community, most especially for those of them who are not able to get to afford how to build their own toilet. I think this is a sad story. This is the sad situation, but that's the reality that we have to attend nature's call in the opening, just like that.
You cited the importance of sanitation as contained in the SDGs.
Yes.
And yet the people of the community have resorted to open defecation. What are the implications?
Yes, the implications are dire and there are many. You see, we can have diseases outbreaks such as typhoid. Typhoid is one of the diseases that you cannot get from anywhere except from fecal matter. So it means that if people are defecating in the open, and these feces, excuse me to mention, to say, have been carried down into downstreams and also into other water bodies. If people are unfortunately making use of those water bodies, then it means that we are open and we are prone to such diseases. Again, if we are contracted with those diseases, then it has economic implications. It means that people will not be able to go to work. It means that production will come down. The government may not be able to get revenue from taxes that it have gotten from people that will be healthy and going to work and also being able to do something for themselves. So the consequences are numerous and they are dire. We also think that if government can intervene seriously in this, What we have done as a community is to also advocate for other people to try as much as they can within their means to get private toilets. But if they are not being able to do it, we know the economic status of people here, or the economic situation here. So sometimes you cannot fault some people. Sometimes even getting the daily bread is an issue, let alone talking about other things like this. So we know they are important things, but you make use of what you have at hand. So what it is that we are still in need of these toilets very much. And we think that it doesn't take much resources to complete them as at the stage they have reached. So we really think that government should come to our aid to complete these toilets for us.
Sarah, the people say they need toilet, they need educational facility. But when I was coming to Dorimon, I had it tough because of the bad nature of the road. The road is riddled with potholes, very big ones. Sometimes you think it's a small dam. I want to find out from Honorable, how do the people manage to travel to Wa in the midst of this bad road?
In fact, the road is one of the major headaches of this community. When you are coming from Wa to Doromo, you pass not less than 4 communities. And don't also forget that Doromo is at the border, is between the border, is just close to the border of Burkina Faso. So we have our brothers from Burkina Faso that cross over to Wa through this road to go and do their businesses. So this is a very busy road. The way it is one of the most important roads in the district, and even will I say in the Upper West region, because of the nature of it, and because of the number of people that applies it. But what do we see? This road have been there for some time. Previous governments, starting from even pre-colonial season, they constructed it. Then any government that comes, they promise that they work on it, grade it, and even tie it. Then in 2015, we saw that yes, some work was being done. And 2016, work was progressing steadily. Because if you go to Siriri, that is from the west side, you see that they have constructed gutters in the community. All this was taking place so that they will now fill, then put the bitumen on it. If you come to the borough, you will see the same thing. So work was ongoing before we have a change of government. So when that happens, we saw that government says that they were going to do a road audit. And not only our contractor was asked to stop work. So the road audit was being done, and then the report we think was being given. But till date, we have not heard about whether the constructor is coming on site or not. All that we know is that some EU project has come, and even communities behind Doromo where they are now working on, from Doromo to Jambose is being worked on, and from Doromo to Dabo is being worked on, and other communities. But the major route from Doromo to Wa is still being left the way it was being left. And you know, when you are applying the road, it deteriorates. So all the work that had been done between 2015 and 2016, which was just left with the putting of the bitumen on the outlay, we saw that the road has now been distorted. It has now developed a lot of potholes.
So how do the farmers transport their foodstuff?
That is where
I'm moving to.
That's where I'm moving to. So it becomes difficult for people to ply those roads. Don't forget that in Doromo here, we are one of the people, or one of the group of farmers that does very well in watermelon production. Even we have vehicles moving from Kumasi, Accra, in Sawoma, and other places to always come here to buy goods. That is the watermelon. So when they come to see the nature of the road, most people don't come after they come for their first trip. Once they are done with the first trip, they tell us that they may not be able to come because of the repairs and the cost that they incur, implying that poor road. So in effect, it is affecting a lot of things, our daily life, such as health and whatever needs, our economic life, and you can mention it. So we really need the road. It is very important in our lives. And we think that if government is able to help us in that regard, we will so much appreciate it to government for that.
Okay, so Sarah, you've been listening to the former assembly member for Dorimon. He is Olina Babasa. He says the people need the the people need the e-block to be completed. They would want the toilet facilities to be also completed. And of course, the roads from Wa to Dorimon and then from Dorimon to the district capital, Wichau. So his plea to the government is that government should try as much as possible to complete these projects so that people of the district can also have easy access to secondary education. Understand people of Dorimon have to go to either Wa or Wichau, which is about 40 kilometers, to attend senior high school. And this, according to the people, is putting financial burden on them. So their appeal is that government should do something. But investigations by real time also reveal that government has constructed a 6 classroom block just by this facility. So let me turn my camera to the facility so that you can see it well. If you can see from a bit far, there is a school block in front of me. That school block was constructed by Northern Development Authority, and understand it has been handed over, but what makes it unusable is the lack of electricity. I understand government needs to connect electricity to this very particular block so that it can start functioning as a secondary school. I have one of the community members of Dorimon to speak to me how the delay in completing the project is impacting negatively on the education of his children. Thank you for your time, Isa. Yeah, Mpacha Kachra school, senior high school, we Tama Aban started school no, then about Wajum.
Oh, now
Pacha Shamaha.
no mania get to say blasta ako kwedi kunim. No mania get by infien crony. Fear bako dum crony. Akaka krana ye ko idum. Ti amaye wura ho. Ti na ani agi mom. Say me ba mienu nyina ko school. Ba ko ti amas. Awowa. Ana ba ko suko kalew. Na no de ya me yakura Sunday Saturday Sunday ya Friday ya so wi na jo be 10 o'clock na me ba no frem say o mo frɛ emergency meeting awa ayi tia mass anam say minister nti me ya ade akyinya mantima anko nti se kura me suro say me ba no in case say o mbe putima pam no afi we so na o mbe twere ba ko na ya phone 3 ba ko so wakale onu so ya phone 2 ana ba ko me ba ko asa antwere this year ti se we yet me ye na boa me aka ebe boa ya pa
anti eyi na chere say we here sika o de boa o manu na o mo school sika no how needful are you in terms of resources sana ba ya uba tomati oba no akọ secondary school because we no munya wi
se kura de to adwundwune na se kura me kọ don kwa obo ase se me kọpẹ apadi me ba ye nso na ho kire wo ho me nisika so be duru ye kura na me yira sa aka ba bi nti aka akwala no kura agu mi so ti ba ko wati amas ba ko so wakalew ba ko asa atwere nso me ni hwi be de be nti se Dorimon ha kura metima nante aye den aba be kia omo ti na no mantima committee me da me ntimi nda
anti asambe na upese wo ka kira aban
me de me sra aban ye community ye wo Dorimon ha no ye do ye ho nti nya de ye say ye ka politics asem anigie na ye pe adisia man kobi nti me ba so kobi aka ebeboa ye kwan no so yi a ebeboa ye nti omo ya adwuma bi wo ha na omo family bra kura betima abeye me nko school nti me pese me sa me ba so sanka akire a onko school nti me sra Nyankopon de ti bia school ya nti ma ye Nyankopon ye panacho bebre Nyankopon boa ye na ye Dorimon so na ye di ni so enye ayi ti ye fra me Satanga.
Okay, so Sarah, you've listened to one of the residents. He is called Isa, lamenting about the impact of the delay in completing the project behind me. We also have one of the women in the community to tell us how the delay is impacting on her children. Mama, Katuma, Walia, this project has delayed. I have an Edibramo. Kawale Katila.
Na pose embarka ye TV deme anwe ye wo wonti twara a wonitin yan a school nga ba malo pampana ka school nga nda ba male oba dolmo ba school ola Ghana za school bozun biye na ben yila akra chetur bore dolmo amin choose to dolmo school nga awa o yel bore azun kana amana wasomo ko nyo yel bore ana aga ati yito na ku Ghana za azun na school ba wo dolmo school la ka government na lew so paru kuti ka wo dolmo school la ona ko mala to so ya gaza aye o wa mala school akwa bisi ka bi jama da school tona ka Ghana za da school tona bi na ben yila chenga dolmo school ngang abangana sar palo o yila Ghana tona la dolmo tona tin za di anan di Ghana men tona azunni te vale no ku mba president aye o ma ache wa mala school o dan yelu kutin ye September 2018 bisi na pili wano tinza bisi wa sewra gba tin me rewoti bisi kula ga tore tin wa banna an ro se ki bi man la ga tore azunne ti kono kurun ondan yelene ti be yinsi kinan yele ache yinsi tunu yembe yinsi ti kono kurun o wa mo ache mala school akwa biri ayiri bora la a school hali lene a school nga an wa lalane land karala ko wa nin suku bon la bon za chona nyile zieme azienga za en karanga school land la banen ne ba toro ontro wa jako nga an o jare ka de o men lu muni pibu mai to ki to me okudo o malu ba chitu o men lana o me ba san akpel mo gbe embo ana o faro ana yon la yala anpel cheka azie lok janna a ferten.
Well, so what Madam Mariam is saying is that even though the people are asking the government to complete it as quickly as possible, it is not only people of Dorimon who are going to benefit from it when it is completed. He said when it is completed, people from other districts and even outside the region might choose to attend the school, and that will assist in bringing development. He said the school has a very big land, and even if government wants to expand the school after completing this project, there is enough land for government to do so. So the plea of the people of Dorimon and Huawei is that government needs to complete this project behind me, which is behind schedule by 4 years, so that people of the district, particularly those who are looking for admission to senior high school, will also have easy access to secondary education. Back to you in the studio, Sarah.
Well, thank you, Swala Abdul-wahab. Rightly said, for almost a decade, this school project has stalled. We are laying this complaint or concern at the doorsteps of Dr. Osei Educhum, who is the Minister for Education. You also mentioned uncompleted sanitary facilities, and we are equally laying those concerns at the table or the doorstep of Dr. Frida Prempeh, who is the Minister for Sanitation. The same goes for Dr. Amakwata, who we are told you're telling us that you need your bad roads reconstructed or at least leveled in such a way that it makes commuting very comfortable and smoothly. You also equally talked about the absence of electricity at the 6th classroom block that has been constructed by government. We're also laying that concern at the doorstep of Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, the Minister for Energy, and hoping that these calls would hit some results. We take a break, we'll be right back.